In chemistry, we use the unit of a mole to help us measure atoms, molecules, and various different things in the laboratory. Now, when we're dealing with chemicals in the lab, we have compounds. And so to determine how many moles, which then we can then determine how many atoms and molecules of a substance using Avogadro's number, we have to use what's called a formula mass. The formula mass is simply taking the value from the periodic table and adding it together to give us the mass of the whole molecule or formula unit. So we use formula mass for ionic compounds and molecular mass for covalent compounds. Those names are interchangeable. It just really depends on what type of compound we're dealing with. So let's do an example. Let's look at sodium chloride, NaCl. So sodium chloride has a sodium atom and a chlorine atom. So if we look on the periodic table, sodium has a mass of 22.989770. Now what we can do is just for this exercise, we're just going to go to 1 decimal point, but really you should use as many decimal points as possible. So we're actually just going to round this up to 23. So 23.0 would be sodium, and chlorine is over here, the nonmetal, is 35.45, so we'll just say 35.5. Now what we do then to get the formula mass for sodium chloride, we have to add both of these values together. So 23.0 plus 35.5 is equal to 58.5, and then the units for this will be grams per mole. So what that tells us is that 1 mole of sodium chloride is equal to 58.5 grams. Now what about another compound? Let's say we want to figure out the mass of a water molecule. So this would be a molecular mass. Water is H2O. And so we look on the periodic table for hydrogen. Hydrogen is 1.01, or just simply 1. And so we have 2 hydrogens here. So we need to multiply that by 2. And then we add the oxygen, which is 15.999, or just simply 16. So let's add 16 to that, and that gives us 18 grams per mole for water. So again, if we have 18 grams of water, so if we take a beaker and we add 18 grams of water to that, that tells us that we have 1 mole of water inside that beaker. So to figure out the molar mass of a substance, or formula mass, or molecular mass, we simply add up from the formula all the masses of each of the elements that are present in the compound. Now from the masses, from the formula mass or molecular mass, which I will sometimes also say molar mass, we can determine the number of moles of a substance. So let's say that we have 22.4 grams of water, H2O. How many moles is that? Well, the molar mass for water is 18 grams per mole, so 18 grams is equal to 1 mole, and this is an equivalence factor, so we can write this as a ratio of 18 grams of water over 1 mole of water, or we can write it as 1 mole of water over 18 grams of water. And so here we have 22.4 grams of water. We need to get rid of the unit grams of water, so we need to multiply by the factor that has grams of water on the bottom. In that case, it would be this one right here. And then on the top of this fraction bar, we have moles of water, and then we simply put the numbers in. There's 18 grams for 1 mole, and so we put in the calculator. 22.4 divided by 18 gives us 1.244. And so we're going to use this as our significant figures. So this has 3 digits, so our answer will have 3. 1.24 grams of water. So not grams, this would be moles of water. So 22.4 grams of water is equivalent to 1.24 moles of water. Now, what about if we were given moles, how many grams? So let's say we have 0.24 moles of sodium chloride. So to figure out the number of grams of sodium chloride, we need the molar mass of sodium chloride. And sodium chloride's molar mass was 58.5. And so we have moles here, so we need moles on the bottom. And then we're going to put grams of sodium chloride up top. And there are 58.5 grams in 1 mole. The moles will cancel, leaving grams of sodium chloride. And so 0.24 times 58.5 gives us 14.04, or just simply 14 grams of sodium chloride.